And this is not story I was told. He died to dodgy
money.
The man now was on speed. He removed his two hands and he brought cigarette
and lit it.
I was lighting the cigarette on that speed. Every fool would know that because of the air, the light can never come on.
Yeah.
He was doing this to show people that he has arrived until the speed moved him to a trailer with iron rods. Then he went under the trailer and the iron rods picked him up hanging like that until the vehicle, the trailer stopped somewhere after Oyelegba. That was the essence of the money gone. But don't say people in my generation.
I'm saying
okay.
Okay, I want to say the Nigerians that are older.
I said Nigeria of that time.
Nigerians of that time collected Udoji money.
Yes.
And many of them have enjoyed that period. They've seen bloodshed. They've seen peace. And they continue to advocate for peace because peace is better than war.
Yes.
That is really what I want to say. That they've seen both sides of the divide in this country. And because they've seen both sides of the divide in this country, they believe that it is good to make those who didn't see the war to enjoy the peace that is better than the war.
Yes.
And that actually informs of the peace accord. Don't forget, Wetye was there also. There was a history in this country, especially in the West. Wetye wasn't a good one anyway, for many people who understand political history before Wetye, before the Fourth Republic.
Before it became the Wild West.
Wild Wild West. The documented history of the things that happened then showed that this country should not be another banana republic where there are thorns and thistles that destroy. So, Guru, you talked here, emphasizing process, talking about the weaponization. Weaponization means no peace. Weaponization means problem. So, it is in a bid for us to have an election that everybody can attest to as free, fair, and credible. Because it's not only free and fair. Is it credible? Only free, only fair, credible. And that is why, as we go into this election,
only free tick,
only free,
only fair tick,
creditable. So the Guru, as we speak now, are going into this election, for the electorate particularly that are listening to us, it is key for everybody to understand that as a supporter of any political party, you have that responsibility to ensure the peace that your party assigned to. Because anything your party signs to, it is binding on you. You have to encourage everything that guarantees peace, so that all the prophecies of doom in and after this election can be disappointed. So that's his goal. That's what I'm saying.
God bless you. You spoken well. Again, you are the child that my father would call the child with wisdom teeth.
That's my teeth.
You spoken well. Now, let us move a little. One of the former Commander General of NATO forces,
Northern Atlantic Treaty Organization,
yes,
you mean? Yeah.
NATO forces, General Bernard. I met him by accident when in Nigeria was his ADC. The Nigeria ADC is the late Lieutenant General Balarabe Mohammed Haladu. Said that he emphasized the principle of peace and war, that they are interwoven. Because in the military, you are told that if you want peace, prepare for war.
Yeah.
But you spoke eloquently about the need for peace.
Yeah.
And all that is spoken brings us to the point that we must applaud the works of this peace accord management.
Yeah.
That is why the name of Bishop Matthew Hassan Koka can never leave us. And even what is his name now? The former military head of state, Absalam Abubakar. The first peace accord signed, was it around September or so last year on this election? The man just returned back from deal managing health and he managed to come and take his seat, and that was the one that most leaders or the candidates themselves were decided.
That's last year.
It was September. They went on sabbatical leave. Their deputy, I remember the particular show where Sowore said that Shetima was not a candidate, that Shetima should not therefore come here to sit.
That it has to be the principal.
So we must be very, very grateful to those who initiate this, because at the end of the day, war is destructive. war is destructive. I have seen war. I was already an adult, so to say, when the Nigeria Biafra war came to be. And what were the reasons? They are no more than what that are privileged in today's Nigeria. So we should all do whatever we can do to avoid it. That is the point you really emphasize. Because if you read Godwin Isama Alabi, Brigadier General,
The Tragedy of Victory.
The Tragedy of Victory.
I've read the book.
He ended up by summoning that all the things that led to that war, they are playing out now. And this is where we are. Therefore, it should be called the tragedy of victory. Thank you for reading it.
Yes, it's over 600 pages.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Very detailed. Detailed with pictures.
After reading his book, because I saw some mistakes, errors, which are not from what he presented, because he was able to present that book with photographic proof. When the mother even went, the mother was telling the son had to look for a trouser for the mother. Of course,
that's when is the reason that people say Alabi Oni Mama.
Those are mothers. Those are mothers.
And to say that as the mom, obviously from Kwara, married a man from Delta, the Asaba region, because the name is Sama, is actually from there.
And she's from Ilorin. Yes. But she has a very, very tight relationship with what would have been referred to as the Kaduna Mafia.
Mafia.
Because when he was to buy car for the son, because in the military then, as a second lieutenant, you are not even allowed to marry because they will tell you your salary will not be able to. That was when there was control. She had to go and take permission from the military authority, and it was granted that she is the one buying this car.
Not him. So, and also don't forget, Isam happens to be the woman's only child.
Yes.
You see, these are the
fathers from Okwale.
So this is the beauty of history. Yeah. And he actually talked about, interestingly, I was at the launch of that book. Okay. And many Nigerian military generals, top brass officers. Yes. I think it should be Akinriyade was there because both of them were closest whilst they were in the war. They also talked about
both of them traveled from Lagos to Ibadan to meet Obasanjo that you had to take over from Benjamin Adekunle. When Obasanjo told them they should wait, and he refused to give them tea, to give them food, anything. What did they say? We are dying. Because Gowon said, I will never replace Benjamin Adekunle, the Black Scorpion, until there is a Yoruba officer to take over.
But that has to do with when people understood what honor meant, what respecting levels of hierarchy was. Then devotion. In fact, Adekunle's son was the one who represented the father. He was still alive when the book was launched, and I had to say the father was recuperating, of course, an elderly person.
Because Adekunle was known as of the day that the book was launched. Adekunle wasn't no more the frog when he walks, because Adekunle, if you knew him well, when he walks, he had this frog movement. He would jump 2 steps, then he would march 2 steps. He keeps jumping. That's
a slim and sharp man.
Very, very, very. So anyway, thank you very much for bringing the issue of peace to it. Please, listeners, let there be peace. It is peace that will take us to our expected destiny. It is not a problem. So having said that, now let us shift the discussion a little. After this particular segment, Kayode, be prepared to bring our people in. We'll give them a few minutes. You will read the messages because I know the messages are loading already. And our phones, they are working, are they not?
Yeah.
Mostly the line devoted to the female. Because I want to hear more of the female today. Not necessarily but because of the fact that my mother is a woman. Is that good? My mother is a woman.
So, I get wife for house.
So now, let us go this way. The registration of voters had again captured one major fact of Nigerian history, politically speaking, and electionary matters. The Northwest and the Southwest, they are the major leaders of our elections.
With regard to the figures of now,
it has been established over the years Even the election of 1959, before you come to 64, it has been established when this regionalization had not really come into being. Don't forget that this structure of 6 geopolitical zones is unconstitutional.
That has to be emphasized.
It's unconstitutional.
Perhaps because of managing the regions and all of that, it is not in the constitution.
Yes, but it was introduced by the late Alex Ekweme, the vice president to Shehu Shagari, who really brought those first 7 members, then 21 members, then 30 that eventually formed the NPN.
By the way, the first Nigerian to get a degree in architecture.
As of the last count, he was still accumulating his degrees.
Yes.
Before he died. When the son told him, said, "Daddy, we merely ask you to contribute to this discussion. Don't forget that in matters of law, you are a layman."
Yes.
Then the man was so provoked. Then he went to read law from University of Lagos. And as of the time he was writing his bar
exams,
I think he sat about 3 seats behind the daughter who was equally writing, but he was a great man.
Yeah.
So he introduced these elements. Now, but we have seen it that the Northwest, the Southwest they are West-West, either Northwest
or Southwest,
must contribute to elect presidential victory of any candidate that want to become president in Nigeria. And the voter list is not different. For example, the Northeast, the numbers of voters registered according to INEC, 12,542,429. Then the Northwest, 22,255,562. Then the North Central, where criminality had just extended from the Northwest. Because when we say registered voters, we should equally think of terrorism,
banditry,
which you and I don't know anything about. And I never did that land before in my life. Then the Southeast for 10,907,666. I will say a word about this later. South, 14,440,714 registered voters. Then Southwest, 17,958,960. Southwest, therefore, is next to Northwest. And of course, these are for. It is not only for the necessary for the population value, but Northwest is the only geopolitical zone in Nigeria with 7 states. Then the poor figure representing the Southeast is not necessarily because of population. Because if you really want to think of the population, the most inhabited zone in Nigeria today is the Southeast, where houses are sometimes almost built on top of trees. If you get to Onitsha, you will know what it is. And every house is fully occupied. But because of the fundamental error in creation, that the Southeast is the only geopolitical zone in Nigeria with only 5 states.
The Guru, you'd permit me interject you because I have said it a number of times.
Go ahead.
That the equity, peace and justice we're talking about cannot only be by words of mouth.
Thank you.
It is questionable that a region of this country, and by population the 3rd biggest tribe in this country, has only 5 states. Some people have argued ridiculously to tell me that the Southeast has little regions, the landmass. I tell them, who made Kwara North Central? Kwara is supposed to be Southwest. For many people who understand that when you take one step from Ogbomoso, they tell you are in Ilorin. They begin to question what the conquerors or the killers of Afonja did. That's a documented fact of history as well. So the Guru, I think that if we want this country to enjoy the peace that you and I always advocate here, it is to first of all address the imbalance in geography. I don't care. For instance, when they were to create Abuja, a number of North Central states contributed so that they can have a federal capital territory. If it means that some areas would have to contribute land for the Southeast to have a 6 states and for them to take away 1 state from the Northwest, because the Guru, let us stop deceiving ourselves. We need to take away 1 of the states in the south, in the northwest, so that they can just balance things out. You cannot have a region of the country, part of the Nigerian entity, have 5 states, and this continues to be an argument that cannot be explained away. One of the arguments that I've always emphasized there was after the war. The Guru, you were here. I read it, but you experienced it. You gave 20 pounds to people that had houses. And after that,
every individual ended up 20 pounds.
20 pounds is the Guru. How could you give 20 pounds to a man who has 3 wives, 16 children, 2-story building, who had businesses? You gave him 20 pounds. Most
of those story building became abandoned property. By definition.
But in Alabi Sama's book, especially at the launch, he told us a Nigerian military officer retired that had once led the Senate a number of times was the one that superintended over the sale and reallocation of the David Mark was the one that reallocated the houses.
Let the people hear from you.
David Mark did at that particular one. So I'm saying here that we must really look into these imbalances. We will continue to be patriots because Nigeria has to be one to succeed and fulfill its God-given glory. But this election gives us another room. If you look at the quoted figures you have there, it has attested to the apathy of the people in that region. Yesterday, the Guru, we talked about Nnewi North and how PVCs have been turned into dustbin because of those who feel certain people should not vote. Only yesterday also, somebody whose ancestry is Southeast in the name of Simon Ekpa was also arrested, later released. So there has to be something in the Southeast that perhaps we need to subject to thorough scientific approach, consideration and analysis, and profile solutions, recommending foolproof solutions so that we can have those that are Nigerians by geographical association. Even if many feel that they belong in another country, that's another conversation. Because when you say there's a Biafra created, the Akwa Ibom man, the Calabar man has always told you, the Kogi man, you have to create your Biafra with your 5 states because we don't know what Biafra is according to our history. And for the many times that I've listened to Nnamdi Kanu, especially on his days of sanity, he's always talking about a place like Akwa Ibom as part of Biafra, certain regions of Calabar as part of Biafra. And the Ibibio man has said, he must be crazy because we don't belong in Biafra. So I think that the federal government that has that guts to create 7 states for Northwest and many other regions of the country have kept quiet must use this election as redemptive approach that all the injustice, especially the person who takes over from President Muhammadu Buhari, the person must look at this particular repeated calls to show equity and justice and fairness to the people of Southeast. Even if you cannot give them more than 20 pounds you've given them, there are lots of things that can be done. Then also the Southeast has a responsibility. We must not cry and express ourselves as if that we cannot also do this, the Guru. The Southeast must also stop that mentality of victimhood, because when a man continues to position himself as such, they see him as weak. And some people begin to do things that make him feel like he's a victim. The Southeast has people that have exceeded in different parts of this country, excelled greatly, outstanding people across the world. So can we move away from some, if not all, of the victimhood of the Civil War and look at how life has smiled on the Southeast and many great things that they've done, so that they begin to see themselves as stakeholders in this country. If you demonstrate capacity as you've done from the Southeast and you want to show that you are not a victim, then you should climb on the strides you have created. For instance, how could a region have the least number of those that are going into an election, and the same region has lots of violence on specific days of the week? The region during the Anambra elections in 2021 November, I was there, the Guru. I saw the weaponization of the Southeast because of that Anambra elections. I wasn't told. So these are the things that I believe going into this election, the electorate must consider. No victimhood. Try to see that this election is seen through by voting for the person of your choice. Then the leadership of this country, because I tell them anytime we come on air, they listen to us. Now, when you abuse Nigeria, you go no say DSS, they hear you. Before you reach down, they don't carry you. So I think that also the leadership must begin to reinvent themselves in helping to provide solutions, the Guru, so that when they take power, the imbalances that are obvious can be addressed, the Guru.
Thank you very much.
Yes, please.
You made a lot of submissions.
Yes, sir.
But if we must really go out, Oluwa Kayode.
Yes, sir.
Are you speaking to the microphone or what?
Yes.
Well, I'm just a Nigerian this morning listening to you.
Oh, of course. I am not saying you should come and contribute because there are laws. The NBC law, they are there. Kunnu had just released the fact now, a bombshell, I would call it, that the DSS are listening to us.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't want your contribution. Kunnu has too many friends within them. I don't think you have that protection.
I don't even have friends within Boy Scouts. Let alone
So you have to be
DSS.
prepared always.
Stand by very much because in the next few minutes we should be hearing from our
Definitely.
listeners. So Kunnu, you presented a lot of things. But if we must use this opportunity
Yes, please.
to go into narrative process of creating the solution you are expecting, we shall be so compounded that we will come out with a heritage of things that we cannot solve.
All right.
So let us submit that because,
Okay, please.
for example, David Mark was only appointed to look into the matter of abandoned properties.
Yeah.
And David Mark, he was a major then. Very, very young. He did his best. Whatever his benefits or no benefit, he did his best. But one most important thing, if you approach Wharf Road in Apapa, as you are going to enter into the Nigeria Ports Authority Premier Port of Apapa Port, to the right is Newi Building, which belongs to the father of Ojukwu, the Odumegu Ojukwu himself. And that house, as well known to the whole world, was seeded and branded as abandoned property.
Yeah.
But when David Mark sat throughout the committee and co, he did even more just in Port Harcourt, which I know. So that is what. But
Alabi Sama said, Alabi Sama said,
no, hold on. That is why I have always invited every intellectual to contribute to history.
That's important.
Alabi Sama book is a well-documented book.
Yes, please.
After the book, I met him in New York.
Okay.
And the man is living very good.
Very healthy.
With good health. And everything as we even talk. Because as of the time I met him, he had already turned 70. And if you know the number of walking around, the miles he will do every morning, he will thank God for his life. But he narrated the book, the issue of the book, to his own perspective. I'm not saying he lied because it's the most well presented of the documentary of the war from all angles. Then, so that is for that. The issue of the £20 is an issue we may not want to revisit in Nigeria again because if we go there, we'll be creating more problems for ourselves. But now, let us now narrow our discussion
to those figures
to today and those figures. And let me read that then before we open the line. Please, listeners, be ready to bring in your contribution. In this package,
they're talking about the numbers you reeled out.
The numbers I reeled out.
Yes, Guru.
You will discover that the Northwest has 22,255,562. Equity and justice, they are not common property of every person.
Equity and justice.
They are not common property.
Does it mean they are for the few?
Either however you want to argue it, the animals farm must of necessity become more equal. Some animals must become more equal
than others.
In spite of the coup the animals brought against human beings.
Yeah.
Please read that book. It is not every person that, if God is good to you, it is because his glory, I'm not on the pulpit, so let me not go there. It is because his glory is associated with the matter. So if God is good to you, thank him specially. Not because every other human being will get the level of favor or mercy that you get from. No. So equity, justice are not common properties of every individual.
That is clarified, all right? It's clarified.
So now, if you look at the Northwest, 22,255,562. Next to the Northwest is the Southwest. Why this one are West-West, I don't know. In the North is Northwest, in the South is Southwest. Then back home at the Southwest, 17,958,966 again. I heard you talking about the demography of census at the time. These are things nebulously packaged packaged against the wish and capacities of some individual across the country, which does not really reflect. But for today, those are what we have. It's like the Supreme Court judgment that now brought Ahmad Lawal back to come and say that it as the order is so offensive of that judgment, it remains the law of the land today until an appeal is made, and that appeal can only go to God, and God will not bring down his own judgment on this matter unless after Armageddon, when things have been reconciled in this spiritual. So let us now look in this. Lagos State alone is the leader, and for obvious reasons, because many years ago, Lagos State had 20 local governments. At that time, Kano State had not even gone as far as up to 20 local governments. It took time before Kano State became 20 local governments. The time Kano State arrived 20 local government structure, Lagos State remains the 20. Then Jigawa was picked out of Kano State. And Jigawa is a state now with a population, I don't know, either created or alluded or allocated to it homogeneously. Now, Kano State one night moved from 20 local government to 44 local governments. And Lagos State remained 20.
I need us to understand this, the Guru, because you're delving into a very important history.
Yes.
The status of Sokoto and Lagos happens to have certain levels of similarity. And it is why many people continue to question how Kano moved from what it was, that same figure, to 44, despite having created another state from it.
Yes,
and Lagos, for over the years, remained that way. And some other persons have referred to the creation of those states during military era, by military fiat. And I continue to say that this calls for equity, because that is what you're saying, that this imbalance of figures is also critical to the success of election. Don't forget also, for many who do not know, that money is in the details. The number of local governments you have determine the number of allocations you get.
From the federal account.
Take away from the federal account. So how then, because if we did a comparative analysis of what Lagos brings to the general coffers every month and what Kano brings to the general coffers every month, you'll be wondering who brings more and who takes out more. And that continues to be an argument.
Okay, Kunnu, please let me stop you here. Let us try to use this narrative as it relates to the election that is coming tomorrow.
That is what I'm saying.
Because if you go to the establishment of equity, and law, I have said it is not common property of everybody. So let us calm down.
I don't drink water. I don't drink water. So
will
come the election?
Now, so we now want to bring it down now to the level of individual states. For example, per what ANEC had given to us, which is still the formation as of today we speak. Lagos is the leader of the number.
With regard to the collection
of the voters that are there in the portal. Lagos has 7,060,195. They Kano became second with 5,931,370. And Kaduna become third with 4,335,208. It goes like that until it comes to others, which include Abia with 2 million, some number, Adamawa, 2 million, some number, Akwa Ibom, 2 million, with some number very close to 3 million, Anambra, 2,656,437, Bauchi, 2,749,266, Bayelsa, 1,056,862, Benue, 2,777,227, Borno, 2,530,281, Cross River, 1,766,466, Delta State, 3 million voters, 221,697, Ebonyi, 1,597,644, Edo State, 2,501,181,000. Then Ekiti could not enter the 1 million voters level.
Now,
Ekiti, no, let me just finish this. But to promise me you are coming down. You take the water just now.
The Guru, you know what?
Kayode, can you? Who told me the other day that I should go? Lọ sí tí o do omi àgípọn.
Èmi ni.
Àgípọn láàárọ̀ mi.
Immediately he gave me that. I was in my village dealing with my bottle of Ogogoro Akpete. She pushed me and pushed you, no big man for road. And my fresh fish pepper soup. Then they told me that I should look for the Odu stream, Omi Agikpon. And I went and I got the Omi. Immediately I moved me and all my body came down. Where's your coming down now? Coyote, where's the Odo by you?
No, his own might not be Omi Agikpon. I don't know how we could get to the center of the ocean.
Oh, so now Ekiti is 987,647. Enugu 2,112,793. Federal Capital Territory is 1,570,307. Gobe 1,575,794. And Imo 2,419,000. My prayer is that may people be left in Imo State with the type of what is happening there now. God, please leave people in Imo. Then other states, which are down the last portion, Jigawa 2,351,298, Katsina 3,516,719, Kebbi 2,032,041, Kogi. Okay, none of us are from Kogi here. Okay. Maybe Kogi number would have increased. We are able to dominate a lot of.
Mr. Kunnu is an adopted son of Kogi State.
Don't tell me that he's adopted son of Yahya Bello, because Yahya Bello himself is adopted son of Buhari and Aisha Buhari.
Please don't connect me to that.
Then you now come to Ogun State, which is 2,688,305. Ondo 1,991,344. Osun 1,954,800,000. Oyo 3 million up 276,675. Plateau 2,799,528. Then Rivers, where the hippopotamus is emerging from the sea, 3,537,190. Sokoto, the Caliphate, 2,172,056. Taraba, 2,022,300. Yobe, 1,485,146. And Zamfara, 1,936,870. My real surprise here is that the Caliphate itself became inferior in voters registration than Kano State. I want you to comment on this. Not only in the Kano matter,
yes,
on this figure.
Yes.
You are the person to take. But first of all, let us listen to some comments from then it will come to your turn.
Yes,
I will be watching you.
All right, so before we pick calls, let's just take some messages. Then we come back to the studio. Then we can go back and pick some calls.
Yeah.
And someone sends the pictures, asks me to confirm. I haven't heard that story yet, but I will look at it and get back
Which
to you.
Which picture
Sir.
is that?
I don't like to announce it on air. It has to be the accusation against a particular party and individual.
And sorry, please, thank God you stop it.
Yeah.
Kunnu had earlier said, any question you want to ask, campaign officially is ended.
It has
So
ended.
anything that had to do with probing into one particular party or not, listeners, please don't send it to us because we will not go to jail.
That's
all right. So there's a question here which says, do you think Election Watch with Oluke Kunnu the Guru, do you think the peace accord convener should be held responsible for the killings? After all, the parties have signed the peace accord paperwork.
Why would you want to hold them for the killing? No. They've done their best, as Kunnu explained two times to explain.
I wonder why President Buhari, after 7 years, he couldn't legalize the local councils created by Tinubu in Lagos. What could have happened? Adegboyega Adedeji.
Okay, I will tell Adegboyega there. The Nakune met by the creation that happened during the time of Bola Ahmed Tinubu was created by the Constitution. The Constitution, 1999 Constitution, has operated, allowed for states to increase their local government. If that is the wish of the citizens of the state. So it allowed for the state executive to organize a plebiscite, we call it plebiscite. A form of, it's also voting. Yeah. But that can be quickly taken. Say, have it. Now, the Constitution created that opportunity. And once the people would have voted for it, the numbers voted will now be accepted by the House of Assembly of that state. Then the House of Assembly of that state, acting through the chief executive of the state, will now move this to the National Assembly, to the domain of the Senate exclusively, the Red Chamber. Then the Red Chamber will now use the language.
Did I say veto it?
No, not veto. It's a rectify.
No, okay.
That the Senate is to rectify.
Rectify.
Then the constitution became done by death. If the Senate failed, what next? This is how it terminates. So Bola Tinubu in his days did everything according to the constitution and moved this matter to the Senate. Then the Senate went down by dead. And the constitution did not make any provision at all what should be done. And no court of law could interpret what is not, could interpret into the constitution what is not created originally. Then it's for that reason that Muhammadu Buhari, it doesn't matter. He is not the final authority on the creation as per the destruction of the constitution. The final authority is left at the domain of the Senate. But since the Senate became this, that is why they became, what do you call them, local LSD.
The guru. I'm telling you that is why many people, including yours sincerely, has advocated for a people-oriented constitution.
Yes.
Because the constitution that was silent with regard to the Ahmed Lawan case still allowed him, without participating in the primaries, to become the candidate of a party. But that same constitution that is silent on local government didn't allow them to approve the local councils, over 37 local councils, 36 created, 37 created by Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We haven't gone through that process. I'm saying that those are the kinds of things that look at section 10 of the constitution.
No, we are still hearing from the people.
Election.
No, we are hearing.
But it has, I said panoramic. I said panoramic. I'm waiting for your figures. Your figures what I'm waiting for.
Go ahead.
Good morning, Lukaide. It's important to also know that a lot of people who registered cannot vote because officials at INEC offices at the local government area said their PVCs cannot be found. It is believed that those voters were deliberately those voters' cards were deliberately hidden.
It could be an error, but deliberation cannot be ruled out. But yesterday evening or night, I apologize to all those people. It is not everything you want in life that comes to you.
The one that comes, make the best use of
it. Make the best use of it. And after this election, your zeal will still manifest again because some cards are now being kept. We house, that's the language. And the opportunity, the time to collect it is over. The portal is shut. So, but for those who genuinely move around and couldn't get it, on behalf of the good people of Nigeria, I did this on behalf of Nigeria because I cannot represent. We apologize again from Lagos State. From Lagos Talks 91 point. Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. Good morning to you, the Combo 3. My name is Maxwell, the social commentator. I want to beam my searchlight this morning on that gruesome murder of Mr. Oyibo Chukwu, the Labour Party senatorial candidate for Enugu East, by allegedly ESN or IPO. Well, whatever their heinous reasons may be, and by anybody or group, that action is totally barbaric, condemnable, and unacceptable.
Yes.
After the election that comes up tomorrow, my appeal to Nigerians is, having survived the last 8 harrowing years, and another opportunity beacons for us to make the right decisions and get it right for once, and not follow our stomach instead of our brain. All right, Lagos Talks, please educate us on movement restrictions during these elections. Thank you. We'll do that. And definitely, we also have another one which says, okay, this is quite a long one. Good morning, sirs. I just went to my polling unit to confirm the register, and lo, my name is not in what they pasted there. Meanwhile, on INEC website, I can see that my polling unit is there. I don't even know what is going on. Robin without a hood.
Robin without the hood.
Robin Hood.
Yeah. Anything Anthony Francis says. Okay, let me read this. Good morning, crew. The 87 million mentioned by INEC and did not take into cognizance the number of the dead, hospitalized, those who left the country, etc., because we have no system of record keeping at the moment. For security, the clothes I see the army wearing now does not look like the one worn to party. It's a very wrong time to dare them. Even if any parents hate their children, they should advise them at this time.
Thank you very much.
Definitely. If you say we have bad record keeping, the register was definitely put out there. So names of people that were dead, well, we'll get there someday. Let's talk less on that. Ahmed Kuti from Oronshoki says, good morning, Adeniyi Kunnu and the Guru. The Guru, you don't need to advise the political hoodlums. Let them go and try their juju tomorrow, as posted by one soldier in a video. Their political father self will see them. They will not recognize them after they might have been brutalized. Tade says, I learned that tragedy of victory is being used in military colleges across the world, Pakistan and Sandhurst are inclusive. Kudos to the Isama for that book. It is very educative. As soon as my son come of age, that will be the first book he will read.
That's good.
All right. Chooks from Alakwere, of course. Chooks, Emperor Chooks says, good morning, everyone. Kunnu and Guru, don't you think there may be chaos in the land if the wishes of the masses are negated due to the INEC non-inclusion of LP logo on the ballot paper? What's your take? Is there any reason for that action by INEC? Why should that have happened? Sure, you have the press conference by Labour Party asking for the postponement of elections and strict corrections to that effect. Emperor Chooks. Let's take a last one before we go back to the conversation. Says Tony from Warri, the only way I see peace is if the election result isn't announced by the Supreme Court. That's the only way out. Good morning and great general. Please, I'm surprised seeing the 3-star general and the 2-star general in the studio since yesterday. I hope we are safe. From Clement in Surulere. So the 3-star and the 2-star generals. I hope it's
You didn't mention the 1-star general.
You are the
1-star general.
I'm the starlight.
Why don't you pick one or two
going back? So
yeah, we'll go back, but we'll be cheating again like Southeast is cheated if we don't pick one call from. If we don't pick one call.
Okay, and let's take this call then. Let's see who this first caller is. Hello, caller. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you? Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. I just want to. My name is Umar. I'm calling you from Apapa.
Okay, Umar.
Yes. I just want to. Can I talk about the local government in Kano and the Lagos and other things?
You have less than 1 minute, please.
Okay.
As long as you're not showing your thoughts, your line of thoughts towards endorsing any party, please. Go ahead.
No.
All right.
I think the creation of local government in the northern Nigeria has to do with the agreement and the political will and awareness of both the traditional rulers and the leaders in the north. Now, there are some places in this country, if you say you want to create some places, or like to let them look at independent or local government, either the traditional rulers or the elders there will fight. So in the north, I can call it political awareness for seeing the future.
All right.
So I think that's what happened there. But I don't know whether in creation of local government, they look at the landmass. Because you are creating local government in Lagos, and they're in the same Lagos. So the landmass, maybe I don't know actually about that, whether it also contributes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for that. Hello, caller. Good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hey, Peter Monte.
Good morning, sir.
You sound like you have some naira on your hand. Your mouth is sounding full of food.
Yeah, please. 2015, after voting, I went back to my house and I was watching everything on the television. 2019, after voting, I came back, I watched everything on my television. But I don't know tomorrow what will I do, where will I watch, because since on Tuesday, till today, 4 days now, there is no light at Bajulaye Road and no sign whatsoever. So please, can we find out whether it is not my fundamental human right to have light on the election day of 2023, to watch the election proceedings, what is going on? And then if I get to the polling booth tomorrow and I don't find my name that has been there over the years, and when I check it, what should I do? Please.
Okay, that's
right,
because
then.
That's the last caller. We have
another one already. Okay. Hello, caller. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Yes, sir. Morning.
Good morning.
Yes,
good morning.
Yes, sir.
My name is Val. My name is Val. I think when he talks about this local government stuff, my question is, with the 44 local governments, even with the 20 are still more productive than the 44. Then that aside,
the threat and the issue of attacks and all that in Imo State that has 2.4 million voters, wouldn't it be of a great disadvantage to them? Then finally, I think this awareness of in terms of registered voters and all that, I think the politics many people play in different regions may be based on population, number of deaths and all that. They don't think about economic growth and all that. It's just the numbers so that they can use it for record purposes and maybe probably for allocations and all that might be in their favor.
Okay, thank you very much. Kunnu, please prepare yourself for the next lunch. But before the callers, one of them said that if he gets to the polling unit tomorrow and his name is not there, why would you wait tomorrow? You have been told for how many months now that go and check. This is one of the problems that we have in this country. But why would you want to wait tomorrow?
I've actually, some polling centers don't have these things displayed. You want to ask, and that's the truth. What they're talking about going to check, you'd expect that these names be displayed. That is the right thing for INEC to do, not even on the morning of the election. So I believe that maybe he falls in that category.
No, he has not even gone. He said if he gets there tomorrow, why would you wait till tomorrow before going there to check it? It is for this reason that a lot of things are Kunnu will have the trajectory on the figure and why.
Let's say this first, that there was a research paper that I read, that was I think 3 years ago. It shows that 3 states in this country happens to be where Boko Haram recruits: Kogi, Lagos, and Sokoto. And I started wondering why Kogi, why Sokoto. Then there were certain conjectures there or theories that they believe that the seat of the caliphate happens to be where they should actually be and nothing else. They believe that Kogi, since they are not able to do what they have to do in Abuja, Kogi actually is not central. They come there, and Kogi has a reflection of the north. Then they come to Lagos, a more cosmopolitan area where they can't be really identified. And even if they move from that side, they come here and nobody really identifies them, and it's easy. I refer to that to say that perhaps this particular state also, especially talking about the seat of the caliphate, you talked about Sokoto as having
follow behind Kano
about 2.97 million. Maybe there are reasons why people have become that way, because you'd expect Sokoto to actually go the way of Kano in terms of the number of people registered. And do not also forget that at some point we're looking at the number of states that has the highest number of poverty rate. Sokoto has consistently remained among the last 10 poor states
nationally.
Yeah, so if you look at it, maybe many people that have been affected by poverty and lack have also moved out to areas like Kano or even come to Lagos so that they can survive rather than stay in Sokoto and die. And they perhaps feel that the election is not on their priority list because they have to survive. That is another thing. If we come to Ekiti, that from this list has the lowest, you'd agree with me that Ekiti doesn't have as much population as many other states in the southwest. That is one fact. So if you
a fact.
So if you look at the population of Ekiti, you'd expect that it may not have that. But if you look at another place, Ekiti is called the fountain of knowledge. You'd have expected the level of exposure and knowledge of the people of Ekiti to be the mobilizing force for them to go register and participate. Perhaps plenty knowledge, perhaps disenchantment, this thing could have been. If we look at Kano and Lagos, the two leading states, the Guru, you must agree with me that these places are cosmopolitan. And it seems as if there is a divided interest going into this election. If you, Guru, you've gone to Kano before. Sabon Gere, you practically think it belongs to other people because of the many businesses there. If you come to Lagos, you go to certain areas. Now you go to Yanasolo. Yanasolo in Lagos is a place where you have a lot of Igbo people who have built houses and established businesses. If you go to areas like Alaba International. So I'm saying that for areas that are cosmopolitan and considering the nature of this election, the candidacy of people, perhaps there's a division along those lines, and because they believe that a lot is at stake, they have to go all out to do what they have to do. You'd also agree that perhaps because these states are the two leading states with regard to the population there, that may also have had a direct influence on the number of people that have gone to the polls. So if we left that place and go to some other areas, for instance, Bayelsa is in the creeks, they grew over 1 million. At the staggered elections that we've had, time and again there has been recordings of mishap, especially taking the materials to the water areas or to the creeks and all of that. Maybe that is why Bayelsa has always kept itself at this level. But if you come to a place like Rivers, for me,
3 million.
3 million. The Guru, I expected more from Rivers. You can say Rivers State are not Igbo people. I agree. But if you look at the socio-cultural climate of Rivers, it's the same thing as the Igbo people. But maybe because there is a problem with regard to the presidential candidate of the PDP, knowing full well that Adeniyi Wike is a PDP member and there are certain cracks. Maybe that itself, because I was expecting to see River record like 4 million, the Guru. But the River State has about 3 million. And River State seems to be very instrumental in a lot of things that have happened to the PDP up until this time. Because that itself is another cause of conversation here. If you left that place and come to a place like Benue here has over 2 million. I expected more from Benue as well. So I started thinking that maybe these things really is associated with the trajectory we've had in the last 1 year. If you look at Benue at some point was APC. It was initially PDP. It became APC. Now it is PDP. And one begins to wonder that the imbalance of the political destiny as managed by Samuel Otom might also be attributed to this. So in the course of all of these figures that we see, one thing that we should also remind the listener is that Lagos and Kano will likely be, you said it, I think it was yesterday, or maybe in one of the select periods that you come into the studio on some days and come, you said it that areas that particularly have many voters will usually be the ones that will decide the fate of many other persons. We're not saying that these areas that have 2 million, 1 million don't matter. It matters. But the Guru, the truth is, people should remember these figures you have quoted today so that they will not quarrel. That you're having low number of those in possession of their PVCs or those who have registered will automatically translate to the number you have when people eventually participate in an election. Then if you look at what you've quoted, which of course are the final figures of INEC, this also will have a direct impact on the people that eventually expect maybe their candidate to vote. For instance, if Lagos and Kano have the largest number of those who turned out to vote for a particular candidate, it is likely, even if you don't like the candidate, that the candidate will win the election. I'm just saying in those areas.
Yes.
It is likely you can hate the candidate, you may spit fire and brimstone.
Your thought of the candidate becomes so irrelevant as far as that zone is concerned.
So the truth is, for many people that are thinking about tomorrow and feeling, what the heck, I don't get 50 liters of fuel, my DSTV full ground, my wife don't buy everything, in fact I know I go work until Wednesday. Don't forget that you're not participating in that election is going to result in what eventually affects you. Even if you vote for somebody who did not win, satisfy that part of
your conscious clearance
and the civic responsibility part that is the Guru, at times we take our civic responsibilities lightly. Maintaining government property, public facilities,
which is a compounded criminality.
It is part of our civic responsibility.
Criminality.
It's part of our civic responsibility. For instance, you see a government property being destroyed. By those who don't know, you're supposed to pack a call that people are destroyed, because that is civic responsibility. It's not only to vote.
Please.
All right, the numbers to call are 0809-234-5913, 0809-222-0913, and 0809-191-3913. That is for women. Hello, caller. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Kings. I'm calling from Ibadan.
All right, sir.
Yeah, I always like the vibe at which Kunnu presents his thoughts. But today the Guru is somehow kicking him. He's not giving him all the space to fire on the way he used to do.
Thank you very much for that observation.
Yes, sir.
And the Guru, I salute also.
I salute you.
But the Guru, you are just holding back your words of wisdom, and we are waiting to get more from it as knowledge. Please give us more.
Okay. I promise you I will not fail you as much as God will give to me.
All right, then. Thank you so much for that call. Hello, caller. Good morning. Hello. All right, we missed that call as well. Remember the numbers to call are 0809-234-5913, 0809 222 0913. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Morning to you.
My name is Adebambo from Ikorodu.
Okay, let's hear you, sir.
Bambo.
First time caller.
Hey.
Eba Agbanlago.
Thank you very much. Please don't mind my English. I'm very poor in English, and that's why I don't call.
No, you should call. You're in your country. You can speak any language at all. Any language. Pidgin.
I can see that Lagos talk is English language.
Oh, you can speak Pidgin English. You can. I mean, as long as you're communicating. Let's hear you.
Anyway, what I want to say in respect of this election.
Yes, sir.
This monetary part of this thing has spoiled everything. Okay, like myself now, I have about 5 people that is having PVC in my compound. Myself, that is me and one of my sons that will be going to that place. The rest 3 will not be going because I don't have money to transport them to where they are going to vote. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Presently, as I'm talking to you now, I have just only 2,000 naira to transport myself to that my son. The rest, they have PVC, but they will not be going because of this stupid money issue. You understand, sir? So as a result, you will not be surprised that we are going to encounter low turnout because of this monetary this thing that the government has forced.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right, then. Thank you so much for that comment. Hello, caller. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning to you, sir.
What about Guru? Still Guru is there?
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Okay. It's Joe from Bariga.
Okay, Joe, you are welcome. Please go ahead.
So everybody is in a full flesh. Everybody is happy that we are going to vote tomorrow. We are going to vote this bad government away from their seat. I'm happy. Everybody should be happy. Let us go and vote tomorrow, I beg.
All right, then. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Hello, caller. Good morning. Yes, ma'am. Good morning to you.
Hey, good morning.
All right.
Hello, everyone.
All right. Good morning to you.
Good morning, the good.
I salute you, man.
I beg from you.
No problem.
Okay. Yes, I am Mrs. Newland from Kirikiri.
All right, Mrs. Newland, let's hear you.
From Kirikiri area, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, my own contribution, what I want to say is actually in respect of the voters card. So those people now, I want to know what is their fate, because the number of voters card there, they are too much.
You mean the ones in the forest?
Yes, in the forest. Yes.
All right.
What's their fate, and is there anything that could be done now since it wasn't their fault, and the whole world is aware of what actually happened?
What actually happened?
So
right.
what should be the maybe what INEC will do concerning them?
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. What I can say is that, remember the Bible says, "Oh, you of little faith." I think that's their state now. They are very little faith. Hello, caller. Good morning.
Hey, 3-star.
Morning to you, sir.
And your papa himself.
Good morning.
The better the taste.
Good morning.
God bless you.
Ambassador Musa here from me.
Yes, sir. Let's hear you.
Wow.
And I'm going to say, I'm listening.
I share.
Now, for me, I think that please, we need to educate ourselves. We need to follow. No time for campaigning this time around. Please, I don't want to lose any one of us. I don't want to lose any of we call to call. Please, we are begging. No more campaigning. I'm begging you. Now, on this issue of state, this has been long time. Even when I was still in 19 states, you can see the abracadabra by the Abacha government. Is it to me? I think all I know is that the time will come that we are going to just all the states we no more states. You go back to region, they will now start afresh and do it right. I think time is coming. I know it's still coming that we are going to build everything and rebuild.
All right.
So I know the time is coming.
That time is coming, and the time is now. It's time for us to go, the Guru and Mr. Kunnu. Let's bring this home in 2 minutes.
Well, thank you. Let me say thank you to everybody who's joined us since we started. I need to say that tomorrow holds another card for us that is very important. And we'll shuffle the cards. Don't forget that we will be having conversations in the studio, and that will be interspersed with, callings and fresh information from the field. But in all you do, you have to understand that safety is key. Participate in this election. Don't be a contributor to the things that subtract from proper and positive nationhood. Jesus Christ is the Lord, as I always say. Thank you very much, everybody. The Guru is over to you, sir.
On that note, we want to appreciate you again. I don't have much to answer because Kunnu Kayode, they've successfully. First time I saw a ship sailing with 2 captains on board, and there was no crash of interest. So the Guru will be back here in the afternoon, and the Guru will be here again in the evening. So until then, enjoy yourself. But the last is this: if you must go out tomorrow, ensure that your PVC is in your pocket. Because that is the only reason why you'll be allowed. And don't use the PVC as a pretext to go and commit arson somewhere, because the security boys are at alert. So until evening or afternoon, where we shall meet again, keep yourself out of trouble. But tomorrow, keep yourself out of trouble. Cast your vote and vote your conscience.
All right, and remember, the directive is cast your vote, not cast your burden on people. So tomorrow, you're going there to cast your vote. Make sure that you choose the right person. Thank you for being a part of this program. It's been exciting. The day that we've been looking for is finally here. We will be able to go out and vote. And yesterday, yes, I need to say this. We talked about you not going out with your phone to the polling unit. Remember, during the sports zone, the reason we said that was, you said, of course, you could go there with your phone, but it will be in your pocket. But you know how at times restless we could be, holding our phone, moving towards that, and if you meet a security officer who is impatient and throws you 1 or 2 jabs, that is what we want you to avoid. So if you're going there with your phone, make sure you know where the limit is, dropping it with someone, because you will not be allowed to take it into the cubicle. And if you went there alone, there is nowhere to keep your phone. So please, tomorrow, be safe, be careful, watch out for all what we'll be telling you on the Lagos Talks 91.3 FM.